What is up, guys? I have made a terrible mistake. I have not done any Iron Maiden videos. I've done Judas Priest, but I have not done Iron Maiden. So I'm going to fix that today. So Iron Maiden needs no introduction. We all know that they're the biggest new wave of British heavy metal band of all time. And you know what? Definitely one of the best bands of all time. Definitely not a band that I would call overrated or anything like that. They are a very, very consistent band, although I do feel their stuff as of late, it doesn't do much for me. I will admit I don't have a couple of the newer Iron Maiden albums. I don't know. There's something about the direction. It's just writing real long songs. I kind of miss the old school Maiden, but it is what it is. So I'm going to do a worst to best. So I thought this would be really, really hard, but honestly, once I started thinking about it, it's actually pretty easy. I don't know what I was thinking. But okay. So, my history with Iron Maiden, I didn't like him completely from the start. I had a friend from school that was obsessed with him. Metallica and Iron Maiden he was obsessed with. And I remember he kept showing me Iron Maiden stuff, but he always showed me like the worst albums. Like he would show me, burnt me the X Factor one time. I think he burnt me like Brave New World, which I didn't think it was bad. But at the time, I was coming off of thrash metal. I was not quite ready to hear something like Bruce Dickinson yet. So that took me some time. And of course, Blaze Bayley didn't do anything for me either at the time. But it was probably a year later, maybe, I finally bought Peace of Mind. And that one clicked immediately. I don't know what it is. It just sounded 80s. I was into the 80s sound. Just liked it. I don't know. That one didn't take me very long at all to get into. And of course, I like Brave New World a lot now. X Factor, we'll talk about it. Okay, so like I said before, at the very bottom of the list, I don't have Final Frontier. I don't have whatever the latest Maiden was with like the Samurai Eddie on it. I heard it and I was just like too slow. I just wasn't feeling it. I think those are the only two I don't have. I think, but I do have. So I'll put those at the bottom, and I'll put this along with it. Book of Souls. I did buy this one kind of not long after it came out. I remember like the single. I don't even remember what it was. Oh, Speed of Light. I kind of thought that was okay. Maybe it sounded a little bit like classic Maiden, and I bought it, and I'm like, it's really not. So, honestly, I need to give it another listen, but it didn't really move me a whole lot at the time, so, yeah. Next, okay. I have to put X Factor pretty far down. It's really not that bad. It's actually got some good songs on it. The problem is this album, I remember it, it's 70 minutes long, over that. And I feel like there's a couple of good tracks on it. Sign of the Cross, it kicks off really good. Honestly, I can't even really remember what every song completely sounds like. I just remember the last time I listened to it, I'm like, it's all right. It's just a bit long. And the songs just don't... It starts off good, but it just loses my interest as it goes. And Blaze Bayley, he's a good singer. But he just wasn't a good fit for Iron Maiden. I never thought he was. His range doesn't fit. I think he even had trouble singing Bruce's parts live. It was just not a good idea. But it is what it is. And I guess the music on this album came out pretty dark. I think Steve Harris was going through some tough times. I think I heard like his mom passed away around this time or something. So it was a weird time for Steve Harris. Just a weird album. Next, I do think Virtual 11, also with Blaze Bayley, is a hair better than X Factor. It feels a little more like a Maiden album, but again, it kind of suffers from the same things. Blaze Bayley is not as fitting as Bruce Dickinson for this band. But I don't know. I remember Future Real being pretty good. The Klansman was good. I don't know. I remember some of these songs were pretty decent. So I don't hate this album. I don't really hate it. Any Iron Maiden albums, really. But no, it's good. I don't know. I need to listen to it again, but it's not one that I want to reach for. No Prayer for the Dying. Okay. It's not bad. It's just missing something. I think they kind of pulled, like, the same thing that, like, Blind Guardian did. Like, they just kept building up, getting a little more epic, bigger sounding, to the point where they kind of probably felt they just went too far. It's like, well, we can't go further with this. So they kind of went backwards and did something a little more stripped down, a little more basic. And that's really what this is. It's Iron Maiden at its very most stripped down and basic. I mean, there's still some good songs on here. It just doesn't do anything to really turn heads. Like, I mean, Tail Gunner's a good song. I don't know. To be honest with you, about everything is at least good on here, but I don't know. I honestly have to listen to this again to really fully get a grasp on it, but I just remember it being okay. And songs like Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, I don't know, man. That's not the kind of thing Maiden's good at, in my opinion. Just being edgy and goofy. I don't know. Next, A Matter of Life and Death. This is one of the newer albums that, although it does have a lot of the problems where the songs are too long and drawn out, I feel like it's actually good. It's not my favorite, obviously. It's still pretty low on my list, but it's still pretty good. I really can't sit here and tell you about every track. I honestly don't listen to it a lot. It's usually one I'll listen to maybe a couple times a year. I'll listen to it on and off, and then I'll go and listen to some of the other Maiden albums that I like. But no, this one's all right. I mean, it's really not bad. It still has like the good stuff that you like from Iron Maiden. It's just still a little bit drawn out. Next, I'd say Dance of Death. Again, this was kind of a step down from Brave New World, but it wasn't a humongous step down, but it was, I think, a step down. Well, I don't even think Brave New World was completely perfect. It was pretty close. This album is just a little less perfect. I mean, I like songs like Wildest Dreams, Rainmaker, No More Lies. I mean, it's actually a pretty good album. Good guitar melodies, the good just melodies in general, and it feels like a normal Maiden album to a degree. Like, it's not as drawn out. There's normal songs on here, and I like long songs, guys. Don't think I don't. I love long epics, but I just don't like when Maiden does it all the time. You know, a song like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, now that's a long song that's really cool, but they just don't have that same spark with the newer stuff. So I don't know. I really, really wish Iron Maiden would just go back to writing regular albums. I miss that. Then we got Brave New World. Now, okay, I know it probably seems like it's a little far down on the list. I actually think this album's really good. If not actually pretty great. One of the best comeback albums I think any band has ever done. But, you know what? I only put this a little lower just because this is going to sound stupid, but I have to admit it to a degree. It wasn't from the 80s, okay? It wasn't one of their classic era albums. And I feel like Bruce Dickinson, while he's good on here, he's not as over the top and, you know, hitting the crazy notes at times, kind of like he did back in the day. I feel like this is a lot more calm version of Bruce Dickinson. It's not bad. It works out pretty good. And there is a couple of songs that I don't like. I mean, I really like The Wicker Man, Ghost of the Navigator, Brave New World. Well, I don't know. There's really not any songs I really dislike. All right. Okay, it's pretty dang solid. I think Blood Brothers was one that I was kind of just meh about, but I don't know. No, it's good. So, yeah, that, and I don't really mean just because something's 80s it's better. It's just Iron Maiden's a very classic band, and they had a classic era, and those classic eras are just etched in stone. They're just too classic. You know, it's hard to outdo something that's just like that classic. You know what I mean? And yeah, I might be making a mistake here, but I don't know. I feel like the songs on Fear of the Dark, the songs that I really like, hit me a little harder than Brave New World, but this album's not perfect either. But one thing I do like about this album, how it does try to go outside the box a little bit, something Maiden kind of needed to do. And I think it made a very interesting album. And this has probably got some of the most intense songs on it, like Be Quick or Be Dead. Awesome song. From Here to Eternity is just kind of like a rock song, but it's pretty good. Afraid to Shoot Strangers. I like it. I like the melodies in that. Fear's the Key. Childhood's End. Wasting Love. I really... Chains of Misery. I mean, I like these songs. I really do. I really do. So, I don't know. I just, one of those weird things. Next, I'll do Killers. Killers is a great album, but I feel like this one was, I wouldn't say like a sophomore release, like a sophomore slump, but I feel like the debut was just a little better than this. I don't know why, because these songs are still good. I mean, we got Wrathchild, Murders in the Rue Morgue, freaking Genghis Khan, awesome instrumental, song Killers. I mean, I don't know, the whole thing is pretty solid. But I just feel like the ideas on the first album, the rawness of it with Paul Di'Anno's voice, man, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about it. I just feel like the songwriting was just a little bit less interesting on here. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I don't know. There's just something about the first one I like a little better than this one. But I don't know. It's still great, though. I love it. My friend Dave probably think this is a absolute blasphemy for Iron Maiden fans. I like this album. I know a lot of people put Number of the Beast as their top favorite. My friend Dave does. I think it's a great album. However, I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's pretty darn close, though. I'm really tired of the song "Number of the Beast." It's good. And I'm also tired of "Run to the Hills." And I honestly don't think "Run to the Hills" is as great as it's made out to be. I can find a million others. I think it's overrated. I can find a ton of other Iron Maiden songs that I can rank higher than "Run to the Hills," but that's just me. Invaders is a little goofy, but I like it. Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue. I mean, I don't know. Hallowed Be Thy Name. I mean, it's a great album. So, it's just the sound of some other ones. Like, okay, next I'll put Peace of Mind. This was my first Iron Maiden album. Actually, it was my first one that I ever bought. But this was the one that hooked me. I don't know. I just love the sound of this one. I love the epicness of it. Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Die With Your Boots On, The Trooper. I mean, I just love these songs. They're just so epic for their time. I don't know. Although I admit, I'm a little tired of hearing Die With Your Boots On and The Trooper. Remember when I had Ozzy's Boneyard, they would play those songs, especially Die With Your Boots On. Like, my gosh, they loved playing that song. Next, Powerslave. This album is a big go-to for me with Iron Maiden. Well, so is Peace of Mind, but Powerslave is one that I can always put in and I'm always in the mood for. Like, I don't know, sometimes, like, I don't know, I'm like, I want to listen to Iron Maiden. Oh, Powerslave. It doesn't necessarily mean it's my top favorite, but it's just a dang good album. I love the way it flows. Ace is High, then 2 Minutes to Midnight, Lost for Words, great little instrumental, Flash of the Blade. I mean, then it ends with Powerslave and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is one of the few long drawn out epics Maiden does that's just perfect. It's, you know, it doesn't get boring. So, I don't know. Pretty solid, man. So that's why that's my fourth favorite. Now we're on to my third favorite. I need a new case for this. This thing, I don't know what's going on with this, but the debut is so good. It's so raw. It's so barbaric. It's awesome. Freaking Prowler, Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, Transylvania, one of my top favorite instrumentals ever. Iced Earth even did a good cover of that. Sanctuary, Charlotte the Harlot, Iron Maiden, even like the more ballady songs are cool, like Remember Tomorrow and Strange World. I mean, this whole thing is solid. I can pretty well say that for Powerslave 2. Like, there's no tracks that I feel like I want to skip. Peace of Mind can kind of do that a little bit towards the end of the album, but no, not this. This whole thing is, I listen to from beginning to end about every time. Next, Seventh Son. I know there's some Maiden fans that don't like this as much. I found it interesting that John Schaefer from Iced Earth loves it, and Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian does not. I just seen them talking about it one time on an interview, and I thought that was interesting. I have to disagree with Hansi and agree with Schaefer that this is one amazing epic album. Very just full of atmosphere. Again, it's got that late 80s reverby sound. I love that. I can't help it. I have nothing against it. I just love the 80s sound. But, yeah, I mean, this album's just super epic. Moonchild, Infinite Dreams. Can I Play With Madness? I'm a little tired of, but it's good. Evil That Men Do. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I mean, all these songs have great melodies and great choruses. Like, just some of the best choruses. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just a super, super good album. And my first favorite, some people probably think I'm crazy, Somewhere in Time. Oh man. Again, this one just screams 80s 100%. Like, this album makes me feel so 80s. It makes me feel like I am hopping into a time machine and going back into the 80s. The sound of it, the reverb. I just love the atmosphere of it. I really feel like I'm going on like a time travel mission or something while I'm listening to it. Such a cool vibe. And some of the choruses on this and the guitar harmonies and melodies are some of the best, I think. Some of my top favorite in Iron Maiden's catalog. Caught Somewhere in Time. I remember the first time I ever heard that intro, that harmonized intro, man, I was like, that. that is going to make me buy every Iron Maiden album. I don't know. That was just amazing to me. Wasted Years, of course, is a classic. Sea of Madness is good. Heaven Can Wait's really good. The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. Stranger in a Strange Land. Deja Vu is like one of the best songs Iron Maiden ever did too. It's like one of the most underrated in my opinion. And Alexander the Great, okay, it kind of goes into one of those epics that it's good, but it's not one of my top favorites. But it's pretty good though. So yeah. And this album cover is one of the best. I mean, you could sit and look at this for like hours and find new things in it. It's so cool. Like the different, like, I don't know, you could just look at like the different signs and just things going on. It's one of the best, some of the best album art ever. So cool. But there you go, guys. That's Iron Maiden. Definitely one of the best bands ever. I don't know. I've heard rumors that they're gonna come out with something new already. Like they're got some new material. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know how excited I am. Because I remember the latest album with the samurai on it. I just remember. I remember everybody was saying on YouTube when it came out. It's like speed it up by like so much, and it sounded more like a traditional Maiden album. And I'm like, dude, you're right. Like I did it too. I sped it up. I didn't know you could do that, but you could speed up videos, I guess, on YouTube, and it made the songs like the right tempo, like an actual faster tempo. It just sounded so tired. They sound so tired on that album. Like it's just there's no adrenaline to it. Like that's just kind of where Iron Maiden is now. It's like they're trying to be epic and proggy, but it's gotten boring, uninteresting. I don't know. But there's no albums that I think are terrible. I just don't have a huge interest in the later stuff that they've done. I don't know. I think after A Matter of Life and Death, I think they kind of lost that spark for me. But I don't know. That's all I got to say about Iron Maiden for now. If you like this video, like, subscribe. Stay metal. Till next time.